Hey, what is going on everyone? And in today's video we will be doing an updated campaign node and store farm guide, because I think there has been a bit of a shift in the game's meta, but also what characters are more worth farming and chasing than the last time I did this around the summer. Things change fairly quickly sometimes here in Marvel Strike Force, so I want to help identify those characters who I think are a priority in terms of shard farming, whether they are from a node or from stores, and I'm going to talk about why they're important. I have decided to do this in a new spreadsheet format because any followers of my channel I think will know that this happens fairly frequently with me, but I feel it's the best way for me to give out information, and I'm going to explain why characters are in the position that they are. Of course, let me know if you find any of what's in this video confusing, and I will help to clarify that for you, and you'll also be able to find this all within my Discord community in case you want to share this on with anyone else. So without further ado, let's get this show started. Okay, so as I said, we're going to start off with the campaign node farm guide, and this is updated to December the 12th, 2021. This is when I'm recording this. It's not necessarily when the video goes out, but I don't see things changing all that much between now and then, or whenever you're watching this. So there's a couple of things here that if you see any of these stars, that means it's typically not new player friendly, and what I mean by that is that they're kind of post level 70. So these are some of the top Tier 1 priority. I don't know why I paused there. These are Tier 1 priority farms. Now, I do have a Tier 1, a Tier 2, and a Tier 3. Now, in this case, for me, Tier 1 priorities mean that it's important to at least take these characters to 5-star, even if you don't necessarily need them right now. I think if you start farming them as soon as you possibly can, as long as it's not impeding anything else, then that'll get you ahead, and then you can kind of like stop farming them and kind of move on to something else, or something else in the Tier 1, or even in the Tier 2 category. So let's talk about this. I did organize it by chapter, and I broke it up here, so it's a little bit easier to read. So right off the bat, characters in Heroes 2, 9, 4, 6, and 6, 3, which is Kree Noble, Kree Reaper, and Winter Soldier. Now, in the notes section, I basically talk about why I think you should have this. Oh my god, which is Nick Fury. So why you need Nick Fury? Not because Nick Fury is amazing, because I don't actually think he's all that great, but you do need Nick Fury for the future for Omega Red. Now, Omega Red's legendary requirements include Secret Avengers, Winter Soldier. Actually, I don't know why I said this. Winter Soldier should be Omega Red, sorry. So you need Nick Fury for Omega Red. You need Winter Soldier, so the two of them, and you need the Secret Avengers, Cap Sam, Maria Hill, and Sharon Carter. So that's pretty important there. So I just fixed my own spreadsheet. Now, moving on to Wasp. She can be found in Villains 4-9, and this is to kind of start farming for Jubilee. Now, whether or not you want to take her to 4-star or 5-star, it's up to you. When I was very early on in my baby account, I farmed Wasp up to 5-star and I left her there, even though I was still quite far from unlocking Jubilee, at least just getting her there, and it was something that I unlocked fairly soon into my game. Also, this does allow you to do the villain's daily objective. If you happen to need to clear that, then that'll do that for you as well. Kree Cyborg, again for Nick Fury. So you need Kree minions to unlock Nick Fury. It sucks. It really sucks, but I do recommend doing this at some point as well now that we know that you need Nick Fury for Omega Red. So Black Panther and Okoye also in Nexus. 4-9 and 6-3. One's 80 energy and one's 100 energy. Both of these are for Chaos Theory. Now, Chaos Theory is one of the most important flash events, in my opinion, in the game, because that allows you to get silver and gold promotion credits. The gold promotions are a little bit a higher tier, but these are very important in terms of all aspects of the game, really. Chaos Theory is, in my opinion, the most important flash event I've talked about in the past, so starting to farm as early as you possibly can is always good. Now, Polaris and Stature are in the Cosmic chapter. These are for legendary character events as well. Adam Warlock in the case of Polaris, but also Do More Chapter 1, I actually want to talk about this. So Do More Chapter 1 includes Hero Mutants and Hero Inhumans. In this case, some of the best characters that you can use for this, at least right now, maybe because technically we're in patch 5.9, perhaps you could use Magic or something like that. But Polaris and the X Factor members are very, very solid to use in this beginning part of Do More Chapter 1. So I would recommend that anyways to about 5-star, which is where you need for Adam Warlock. Now, stature, once again, just like Wasp, is also required for Jubilee, so I think that's pretty important too. But then, obviously, and actually this probably needs the, the stars. I don't know why I didn't have that. So Cap Sam and Yellow Jacket, this represents Doom 2-6 and 3-6. Some of the more important characters to farm, so Cap Sam specifically, is part of that Secret Avengers team, a very, very important member of the Secret Avengers, and a very, very strong character in the game, also required to unlock Omega Red. So when you do get there, you know, I'm not even there yet. Sorry, I'm not even there yet on my baby account. I'm almost there. But as soon as you do get these nodes unlocked, you probably want to do this. Yellow Jacket also is required for Jubilee. So once again, just like the other Jubilee ones, I would recommend doing this at least up to 5 stars so you can get these legendary characters unlocked. So these are what I would class as the Tier 1 priority. Let's move on to Tier 2 priority. These are kind of the less important, typically for flash events or other legendaries that are a little bit less important. There's a bit more of them as well. So starting off in the Heroes chapter, we have Punisher, Mysterio, and Miles. This is for the Skilletary training mods for Punisher. Invisible Woman and Shuri unlock for Mysterio. He's also available in the raid store, but this is a very early unlock, so if you just need some character shards to farm, you can do this early on. Miles now is a new one added that I'm going to put in here, but I'm going to put him in the Tier 2 priority, not because Web Warriors are going to be a very important team, but it's because he's also in the Blitz store that shard farming him out of the node is not the most important thing to do, but if you want to really double up on your shards, you can do this way. But yeah, you could do Blitz orbs and things like that, and we're going to talk about more about the Blitz store because I think he's going to appear in there as well. So Black Widow, Korath, Hela, and Iceman from the Villains campaign. Now, this is for Skilletary and Wave 1 Avengers for Black Widow. For Korath, it's the Payday Gold event. I think he's still one of the better characters to take in for the top 5 mercs, believe it or not. And also because, again, once you've kind of finished doing Wasp, I've been doing Korath as a way to kind of complete my daily objective for the Villains campaign. I would struggle to find characters to actually farm for this, so if you do need Korath a 7-star for the Payday Gold event, then there you are. Now, Hela and Iceman have the stars because they're in Villains Chapter 7. This is a level 70 plus chapter and not the most friendly to do. Hela is required for both Phoenix and the Black Bolt legendary unlocks. Phoenix has now been more recently put to the 5-star level, so that's a little bit easier, but I put a question mark because I don't think Black Bolt is all that important as an unlock in my opinion. Iceman is also part of that astonishing X-Men group. It's in Tier 2 priority because you can't really do much with this team without Jubilee. So yeah, it's not a super high priority, but if you can get this unlocked, then yeah, I would take him to like 5-star, you know, get them ready, maybe get them shard ready for Jubilee. If they're still going to be valid in about 4 or 5 months time, we'll have to wait and see. Now, Nebula and Beast are part of that Nexus campaign here, Nexus 4-6 and 5-6. Infinity Watch for Nebula, but the reason why this would have been Tier 1 a little while ago, but now it's in Tier 2 because Infinity Watch is dropping off the meta. I don't know, I would recommend new players now to start farming Nebula. To be honest, I don't, for the 100 energy cost, or is it 80? Actually, I may have fucked this up. It could be 80, without double checking. But it doesn't matter too much because I'm not sure I really recommend Nebula to be grinded out at this time. It's not that Infinity Watch is bad, it's just not a top priority anymore for newer players, that's all. Beast gets the same kind of explanation as Iceman. Get him ready, but if you don't have Jubilee, it's not really that amazing. Taskmaster and Scientist Supreme for Cosmic. Now, Taskmaster is part of this Payday Gold event. Scientist Supreme is usable in also Villain 7-1, actually, but more specifically, Do More Chapter 2, which is required for AIM and Wakandan. She's very useful there. I used her in my baby account, so I would try and get her to at least 4-star, because that gives you a decent range to use her for this campaign section. Cable is available in Mystic 1-9. This is for Doc Ock. Negasonic also for Doc Ock. I guess I could put the stars here because this is a higher level campaign. I should have done this. Same with Multiple Man, actually, for Adam Warlock. So in my opinion, Adam Warlock is not as immediately required for stuff as he was in the past. It's also very late game. You also need Jubilee to unlock Adam Warlock, so it's not a super high priority because you probably can't do it. So that's why it's in the Tier 2 category. Now, the remaining characters, which are the Tier 3, these are leftovers. This is literally, if you don't have other things to do, you can do this. Now, Hand Sorceress is in 3-6 for the Hand Catalyst Relic Hunt. Elektra Nobu also for Hand Catalyst. However, Nobu doubles for the Phoenix unlock, so this is something that you can do with your villain energy if you really want to. Captain America, Avengers stuff. He's very early on, Nexus 1-3, but he's not a super great character right now. Squirrel Girl has been recently added to Nexus 4-3. Future Young Avengers, there might be a time where this might get bumped up to Tier 1 if Young Avengers get some new additional characters, where having Squirrel Girl will be really important. So just keep that in the back of your mind there. And Hand Assassin on Nexus 7-6 is important for the Phoenix unlock alongside Nobu. This is villain Mystic controllers, which include characters like Hand Assassin, Nobu, Hela, Loki, and Mordo, and I think one more. I just can't remember off the top of my head. My apologies. But those characters there. So let's jump on over to the store farm guide. You're going to see something very similar, a tier 1 through 3 priority. Again, important to at least 5-star these characters, but it's going to look a little bit different. So we're going to start right off the bat with the Blitz store, and this is Gamora, Spider-Man, and Miles. Now, Gamora is a very powerful early character. Even if you don't build the rest of the Infinity Watch, Gamora is very important. She can really help you through the Heroes campaign, the Cosmic campaign, and there's actually a section in... It's either in Doom War or it's in Nexus, where you can use Gamora specifically because of the Guardians tag. There is going to be sections where it's worth gearing her up at least a little bit. She's very powerful. She had a huge rework and very good. Spider-Man, OG, and Miles. Now they're part of this new Web Warriors team. Very easily accessible in the Blitz store. Really, really good. There is, Gamora's also in there as well. So you could either just buy their shards directly until you get to a certain star level, or just buy the Blitz orbs, but it will dilute your shard potential a little bit. Blitz orbs do cost more at 350 though, rather than 500, so keep that in mind. In terms of the raid store, there's some really great characters here for starting players. Sharon Carter, Baron Zemo, and Killmonger. Now, Sharon Carter is once again part of that Secret Avengers team, a very strong skill raid team, a character and team. I was going to say and team, but that goes alongside Cap Sam and Maria Hill, who was also mentioned here in the Tier 1 priority. Baron, and also actually needed for the Omega Red unlock, so I didn't actually include that because I mentioned that earlier on. And this is bugging out, so let's put that in there. So Baron Zemo is a very strong villain character. He's someone that I would recommend unlocking very early on because he's going to just crush it in the villains campaign. So once you get the raid store unlocked, he's really going to help you get to that point of clearing all of the stuff that you need to in the villains campaign in a flash. He might even be really good in the Nexus campaign because you can use pretty much anything you want in the Nexus campaign as well. Very, very strong character. Bit of a glass cannon, but he just blows apart minions, which is a whole part of his kit. There is also a section later on in Doom War Chapter 2, where you need Hydra, and Baron Zemo is going to be really important there as well. Killmonger, he is involved in 3 Flash events, and a pretty generally good villain. So Chaos Theory, because he's Wakandan, Payday, because he's a merc, and Skilletary, because he has the tag Skill Military, and that's the training mod challenge. So I would not challenge, Flash event that comes around monthly. So I would recommend it for that point. Now Phyla-Vell here, she gets some stars not because she's a high level character to unlock, but it's because that if you're not using her with Gamora, her standalone value, I think, for newer players and even mid game players is questionable. But if you are gearing up Gamora, then you definitely want to have Phyla-Vell on your side, and she is available in the Arena Store for $9.75, which is a premium cost, and she has 100 shard unlock, but she's a very, very strong character. She's actually one of the top 5 damage stat characters in the game, so if you are using Gamora, do use Phyla-Vell alongside her. Now, Maria Hill, this is really, really important. She is probably one of the best characters in a store in the game right now, in my opinion, because she is a really, really great support character. She is part of the Secret Avengers. She is a skill character. She is also required to unlock Omega Red, but she is just an exceptional support character. Great for future Dark Dimension stuff. She also does have the shield tag, so for campaigns, late game campaign chapters like in Nexus that says shield in it, you can use that. If anything says Avengers, you can use her in it. She has a lot of wide usability, and her kit is really good. So do prioritize Maria Hill. I can't stress that enough. Now, Tier 2 priority, this is less important. Again, just like the node farming, this is typically for other Flash events or non-important legendaries. We have a lot in the Blitz store here. So we have Electro, Rhino, Ant-Man, Kree Royal Guard, Merc Riot Guard, and Domino. So just starting off the bat, Electro and Rhino are part of that Sinister Six team, which is involved in unlocking Invisible Woman, but also for Shuri, because Shuri requires Spider-Verse, which they are. Now, you may not necessarily run these two characters. You might just, you know, now that we have Web Warriors, you might just use those instead for Shuri, but this does give you an option for a 2-for-1 if you want. Ant-Man is part of that Pimtech team, which is unlocked for Jubilee, just like I talked about the other ones in the previous section. Kree Royal Guard is the last member of the Kree minions here that I hadn't mentioned, who is available in the Blitz store at 400. All of the minions in the Blitz store are a 400 cost. A Merc Riot Guard specifically for the Payday Gold event as part of the Mercs. Domino for Doc Ock. Now moving on to the Raid store, we have Kree Oracle. Sorry, wasn't the last Kree minion. That's Kree Oracle, so he is involved in that Nick Fury unlock, which is eventually for Omega Red. He's at a lower cost if you want to buy directly in the store for $11.25 for minions instead of $14.00 for everyone else. You could also buy Raid Orbs, which I believe are 800 or 900. I forget how many credits, but sometimes this is a good option as well for mid-game players. Just to spam the Raid Orbs, you get a more wider selection of characters if you want to build them for some of these various reasons that you're seeing on the chart. Mysterio once again appears up here, so Invisible Woman and Shuri, part of the Sinister Six. He is in the Raid store. He also has a node, but if you prefer to do it from the Raid store, you can do that. Yo-Yo is a tier 2 priority. She's just good to have. She has a really interesting passive that lands offense down as long as you're not running other protector characters. She is usable in some campaigns where shield is a trait, and she's an Inhuman, I guess, for future unlocks for Black Bolt if you really want to. Or not Black Bolt, Ebony Maw if you want to. So it's always good to have as well. I didn't mention that, actually. I should have done that. Ebony Maw as well in here. So Kitty Pryde here, she gets the stars because she's not someone that you're going to be using right away. Once again, just like the other Astonishing X-Men, she has a late game use, but she is available in the Raid store to prep if you do get on for the unlock for Jubilee. Shatterstar, Red Guardian, M'Baku, Deadpool, and Swarm in the Arena store. Shatterstar is for the Adam Warlock unlock using X Factor and Jubilee. He is also used in Doom War Chapter 1, like I mentioned in the when I talked about Polaris for the exact same reason. Red Guardian is for the Skilletary Training Mods Flash event, and M'Baku for the Chaos Theory Flash event. I'm really upset that M'Baku hasn't been downgraded to 350 credits because he's a very old character, actually on par with, not far off from Deadpool. Well, maybe no. Maybe he is, but, you know, still, M'Baku should be 350, and that's probably exactly why he's not 350, is because of that Chaos Theory. Deadpool is 350, though. He is usable in the Doc Ock event, as well as the Merc Gold Flash event, and Swarm, once again, a member of that Sinister Six, so a lot of what we talked about up here with Electro and Rhino, another member of the Sinister Six that you can collect for those two legendary events. Now, in the War Store, which is a bit more important, but less important than Maria Hill, so we have Bishop, Longshot, and Ghost. Once again, get the stars because of Astonishing X-Men having the late game use for Bishop. A Longshot, part of that Adam Warlock, and Doom War Chapter 1, like I mentioned, for Shatterstar above, up here, wherever he was, over here, actually, sorry. And then Ghost is for the Pimtech team for Jubilee, but she has a wider use in Dark Dimension, so if you need another character for Dark Dimension 2, 3, or 4, Ghost is a very valid character to use in the Global section, and I'll just add that in really quick just in case people aren't aware. Dark Dimension Global, and she is still a good choice there. Now, what's missing? The Tier 3 priority. There's a little bit. Luke Cage in the Blitz store. Heroes for Hire. He's also a city hero for the Block Party Flash event, which only comes around once every 2 months, so this is a bit of an issue. Rocket Raccoon and Merc Soldier. So Rocket can be used in the Star-Lord unlock. Merc Soldier also for the Payday, but also for the Skilletary Flash event. So he is quite easy to get, whether it's just buying directly or getting through the Raid Orbs to get a more wider selection of shards. And Mordo, Drax, and Heimdall out of the Arena store. So Mordo specifically, like I talked about, he's a villain Mystic Controller for the Phoenix unlock. Drax for Arena for Star-Lord if you need to. You know, that's why Rocket's still in here. And Heimdall if you want to unlock Black Bolt. They're question marks because it's really up to you whether or not you want to unlock them. They're not a high priority, I would say, but they are available here nonetheless. Now, this is like Tier 3 priority War Store. Sif, X-23, and Mr. Sinister. Sif is an Asgardian used in unlocking Black Bolt. X-23 is for that Doc Ock unlock. And Mr. Sinister, he was previously very meta. Maybe he might come back as viable in the future, but at this point he's not. He's also 100 shard unlock. I don't have him unlocked in my baby account. Maybe I'm just unlucky. I haven't picked up shards out of orbs from him. Not a super big priority, but if you really like Mr. Sinister and you want to at least unlock him, here you are, tier 3 priority, not the highest priority. So what I would really pay attention to this tier 1 priority list, both on the store farm guide and in the node farm guide. These are the ones that I think that you should be focusing on first. After you've done this, or if you've gotten to 5-star on some of these characters, you can move on down to like the tier 2 priority and pick and choose which characters you want to focus on to get to kind of the 4 or 5-star level. I think it's really important to have some of these characters at that range, whether it's for a legendary event, whether it's for a flash event or something else. I think it's really important. So let me know what you think about this list, if it's helpful for you or not. I hope it is. This will be available on my Discord channel as well if you want to take a look or share it around. And of course, guys, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.